Welcome back, everybody. Here for another video of us going through the process of grading through tag. Alright, so when we officially filmed this initially, we were just going to go through, break down the submission process, break down the submission kit, and like show you guys how this process worked. But obviously, in that time frame, it took us a little bit to edit here, but that's okay because a couple things changed. And if you've been following the market recently, everyone's heard about the good old stealth changes that happened, I would say about 2 weeks ago now on Tag's website. Now, everybody went through, there were some people were talking about how they were going through the submission process, the purchase process, and then the website went down for about 3 to 4 hours. And when they came back up, obviously things had changed. All right, so we're still going to go with it because we just want to see how it plays out for us, walk ourselves through the whole process. So obviously we send through PSA, SGC, Beckett, everything else. But we definitely want to see what tag is. So our whole mindset here was when we're vending tables at shows and stuff like that, we wanted to have mystery slabs, and we loved that feature about tag. So now we could have mystery slabs at the table where we put out a good floor, a very nice ceiling for people not to be like completely screwed over, but have like that $20 to $25 mystery slabs where kids, people that don't always want to spend the big money. But let's go through those changes first, and then we'll get back to that rest of that stuff later. So let's go and head over to the actual page here. Now, when we first did this, there were quite a few different changes. Now, the biggest changes have been obviously to the prices, the turnaround times, as well as the minimums. So a lot of people came over to Tag and were thinking about Tag mainly for the fact that like there was AI grading instead of the actual subjective person day-to-day angry, mad, happy, sad grading, because PSA does say that in the actual thing that says they can grade subjectively based on the grader. But one thing about Tag was you could actually have that $15 card, no minimum. So whether it was 1 card or 100 cards, you got that $15 card rate with a 10-day turnaround. When the website went down, it came back up. That did change to that 20 card minimum, which kind of obviously upsets some people because not everybody wants to bulk submit cards. The average person is only sending out a couple cards here and there, maybe for their PC. Not everyone is looking to vend cards or flip cards and do that kind of thing. So I get why some people were a little upset with that, but that is one of the changes. This is the other one. It went from that 10-day turnaround to 30 business days. Obviously, people were okay with going to Tag, even if the return on investment, like that resale value, wasn't as high because they could flip more cards quicker, even if it meant less profit, because the price was cheaper and the turnaround was quicker. So you weren't going to be sitting at PSA for 3 months and have that card depreciate in value while it's sitting there because you could flip it in 10 days and come back and get it. Now the Tag has done this. Now they've added that minimum as well as that 30-day turnaround. People are starting to start questioning that. Is it worth sending your cards to Tag now when you could spend $1.99 more for 2 extra business weeks and then get it that route? Now you can go up here to that 15 days turnaround, which is drastically cheaper than PSA because I think that the PSA one I think is around that $25.99 for that 25-day turnaround. But then you're going up to $25 per card. That is quite a bit higher, in my opinion. Not everybody's going to feel this way, but in my opinion, for that turnaround time, because if I can get a little bit more money waiting a little bit longer through PSA, I'm probably still going to have to go that route. Like the whole thing that set Tag apart was the turnaround time, the AI process, and then the no minimum. So if they're going to take that away, you're going to obviously deter some customers. I know they initially had the cheaper prices and cheaper everything because of newer company, and as they grew, they were going to have to expand. But this is another feature here that was pretty neat. You see that score process at the top. That's a cool feature that I still do like because not only are you in the population count, but when you have a score, you get that rank too. So say you have a PSA or a tag 10 and I have a tag 10, but yours is a 998 and mine's a 991. Well, therefore yours is a better tag 10. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like for some collectors, that's actually going to matter where you could almost charge a premium or have a premium, or it's going to be a little more sought after if that tag 10 score or that tag X is a little bit better than mine. So being ranked first, I think especially in a collector's world, or the trading card world, and the sports card world, I think that's actually a very cool concept to initiate, and I think that's going to actually be long-term a good thing for them. This part is another spot too, that no upcharge. I don't care if it's a $20, $30, $40, $50 card or a $2,000 card. I mean, they obviously have the insurance that kind of changes and the price that changes, but having no upcharges on any levels as of right now, as long as they don't change that, that will be pretty key for Tag going forward. Now, Here in a few minutes, we're going to go head over to the submission kit and I'll show you the difference there. Now, when I first actually got my submission kit, it did take a bit longer to get than I was expecting it to, but I think I got in right before like the delays and the heavy overflow happened. But when I bought in, it was only $599 to get a free tag submission kit. And I'll show it to you here in the rest of the video. I think it is a cool concept to have, especially for a new submitter. Like we submit cards all the time for customers and ourselves. But for a new submitter to get an actual itemized checklist, the semi-rigids, the easy pull top loader sleeves, the box, the shipping, to take all of that guesswork out of it, I thought was key. But now they've changed the price. Now it's $1,200 plus to get a free one, or you can buy. You can still buy it. For I think they're changing it to like $50. We'll check that in a second here. But the incentive now is, I want to say it's like 75 plus cards to get a free submission kit. Now we got ours, and I think I submitted 45 cards for this, our idea for mystery slabs at the table. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll break it down. It was actually a pretty smooth process that we'll show you in a second here, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the 360 slab videos is cool. UV protection. Now this is where a lot of people are going to go. Everybody's always complained that PSA, CGC, SGC does not tell you why you got the grade you got. And that's kind of been upsetting a lot of people. Well, at least with tag, you're getting those videos, you're getting those thermal images, the actual x-ray images, that transparency sliders, and the ding reports and all that, and the edge wear. I think that's going to be still pretty huge. And if PSA can't adapt to that at some point, which I don't see it being a very hard concept. I guess I don't know. I'm not a card grader. But to not be able to tell people why they got the grade they got, it is going to upset quite a few people. So this is going to be a huge separator, I still think, for tag to get that grading process and actually be very transparent with it. Okay, let's peek at this real quick, and then we'll actually go through ours as we submit our 45 cards and kind of show you what ours look like. So the packing list is neat. This did take 2 extra days. It did take about 11 or 12 days, and that includes business days, to get our submission kit. But I'll give them 2 back, because I didn't realize after I bought the 45 submissions that you actually had to then put together your submission before they even built your kit. So that was a little different for myself. Once that got happened, obviously it shipped out pretty quick. They did the whole building the submission kit process and go that route. But we'll show you that in a second. Tag insurance. We think it's an okay thing. Obviously, for 99 cents or a dollar, I think $1.99 per card, depending on what it is. Obviously, you still should probably recommend it. Insure your better cards. If you're sending out a couple dollar card for like a personal PC or something that you know is a little lower end, it's up to you. Always up to you. But I would say always probably insure the cards. Now, for someone like me that actually sends in 20, 30, 40 cards a week, I didn't do any of this, the card care, because I already wiped my cards. We don't do any altering it or cleaning it. We do clean it, but we don't alter it. We won't use anything that actually will break rules. We wipe it, we air can it, we dust them. Obviously, make sure the sleeves are brand new, the semi-rigids are brand new, just to kind of make sure that we aren't sending in a card with a fingerprint on it or a little piece of dust, because PSA, tag, CGC, all of those people do not care. Like, they will slab up a piece of dust for all they care just to get the process turned over. So let's go ahead and do the process here. Like I said, I think now with the submission process, to get a free slab submission kit through tag, obviously I think that number is roughly around 73 cards now. So yep, 73, and that's without any discounts, stuff like that. Now, you do get, I want to say, I think that 10% discount still for your first order. That's at least what we got. So you do have to go slightly over that, because obviously it has to be after all sales and discounts. That's still a lot, though, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you can still buy your own $50 slab or submission kit, but to ask the average collector to send in 73 cards to get this free, I mean, obviously they started out pretty new and they were just giving them out to kind of get the word of mouth out, which they did. They did really well, but now they're getting a little beat up and a little slower return time because of their new business. But I still think it's pretty steep. Even if they dropped it down to like the $800 range, that 45, 50 card minimums. But all right, let's go ahead and go through the process here and see what we like here. It does come in a very nice padded bag. You actually get this padded bag inside the other padded bag when you get it. So it's already pre-labeled, pre-stamped. You just got to pull it open, take everything out. And then I literally walked into FedEx once I was done with this whole thing, and I dropped it off. And at the time of recording this, it took 2 days to get, because it is 2-day turnaround shipping. And 2 days later, they were already in the received portion. Now, they haven't started grading yet. We'll go through that video when it gets back, and we'll go through that updated timeline. But We got this back, and it's pretty nice, pretty solid. We like the quality. It's actually pretty rigid for what I thought I was gonna get. And let's go ahead and rip it open here. It is very, very secure in my opinion. Obviously, when I ship out cards, I like to wrap them in cardboard. I'll team bag them. We'll itemize it. We'll bubble wrap it as well as paper wrap it, and then use a hard box from like US, like the post office or FedEx, to ship our customers' cards out. But this is a pretty neat concept. Like I said, no one else has done this yet, so I think this would still set them apart if they found a way to kind of meet their customers in the middle here and not make it such a hard thing to get. It looks super clean. The box is very nice. It's got that gloss, it's got that shine. It just feels like good quality. The black and the silver is a very good scheme. Across the board, it just feels like, like you're not getting like just some low end budget box that feels like it's costing 99 cents. You actually could tell that they put some effort into this, the planning process, across the board. I mean, everything about it just feels pretty good. So let's go ahead and take this out, flip it over here. It's nice and snug in there. So yeah, we'll just put this aside for now real quick and then go ahead and break this down. Now, inside this box, you're obviously getting your deck box, your packing inventory list, as well as what I like here. You'll see this in a second, is this zip tie. We'll talk about it later towards the end, but this zip tie is really nice because it's a tamper-proof way to make sure that if it's like cut open before they get it, it was tampered with, and it's nicely itemized to your submission. So it's kind of nice. Now, for me, like I said, I buy a lot of these for customer submissions as well as my own submissions through PSA, SGC, CGC. But to get free ones, once again, that's just another thing you could tell kind of sets them apart here, which I definitely appreciate. These aren't expensive. So for a multi-million dollar company that like kind of throws these out here, it's a nice little incentive. Like if I could go between this or another company, if everything else was the same, return times, price, ROI, like return on sales and stuff like that was all the same, and they gave me these for free, I'd probably come over here. It's just nice because you get that easy pull top loader and or the easy pull sleeve. And I always say to everybody I talk to, if you can remove something from the grading process for them to have a chance to mess up, do so. Like if you can make their day easier, to give them less chance to ruin your card, scratch your card, ding your card, dent your card, do so. That's why even before I went with Tag, I always buy these sleeves off Amazon and buy them by the thousands because I just like them. I mean, across the board, they can just pull them out. There's no like digging around for the card. Now, obviously, as I'm going through here, these do look reused, which I'm okay with. I don't care. I mean, all the time. I mean, whenever I send off a semi-rigid to PSA, I never get my semi-rigid back. They just take it and keep it. So, I mean, I don't mind them reusing it, recycling it, saves a little plastic, makes everybody feel good about the environment, as well as, it's not going to be used after I get it to them. So they do print out your list for you. Just like PSA submissions, if you've ever done that, you have to have it in the exact order, or there's a little bit of an upcharge because it just makes their process a little quicker if they have to make sure it's all in the right order. Inside the box, did not see this at first when I was messing around, but they do show you exactly what to do, how to do it, and it's very simple. I mean, literally, if I can do it, you can do it. It seems like so far Tag has made this whole process extremely user and beginner friendly. Not everybody's going to submit cards all the time. I know there's options nowadays like GameStop or your local card shop that you can submit through, or even us. I submit cards for people all the time. But even if first time, right out the bat, you rip a pack and you want to send some stuff out, this is a cool little concept here because they break down the process pretty easy. They show you how this little slip works, as well as I think at the top here they had a QR code as well. We'll show you that in a second here, but I mean, it just breaks down the process and makes it very, very user friendly and like it doesn't make scare you away from the whole process, because there's all the times people say, I don't know, want to mess this up, and you can't really mess this up. And like, there's a QR code. I didn't do that because I mean, like I said, the pictures are pretty simple, and then I've already done quite a bit of research here, and I submit cards often. But you can always watch the video and see if that works for you. But I honestly, you can't really mess this up. Because once you go through, like my son and I did this together, we just went ahead and we're going to go ahead and submit the cards one by one. You go through the list and just call it good. There's no complicated portions here. So it's just nice across the board to see how the whole process works. So we got the deck box here, very clean. So it looks just like a standard Pokemon deck box if you ever opened like a UPC or like an Elite Trainer boxes or stuff like that. Same kind of concept. It's got the flip lid and everything there for you. So nothing crazy. Comes with some foam inside. We'll put that box aside for a second. We'll show you inside this box here. Now, like I said before, the whole plan for this was to kind of make people, everybody's been to a card show or a local card shop or something before and had a mystery bag. You've seen them on the shelves, mystery sleeves, mystery this, mystery that, and like you just get cooked on them. I've done it before. I've been there where like I spend $40 on a mystery bag and get like $12 in product. So we put a bunch of cards together that range from 20 to 25. We got a couple $40, like that one's $100 here. We got a couple good SARs, SIRs, vintage, modern, mid-modern, and we're gonna put those in there so like people can come up with $20, $25 per packet and get a very good slab chance, or at least get their money back, or at least hit a decent floor. So obviously you're not always gonna make your money back. People that argue mystery bags are a terrible thing, every single time you open a pack from Pokemon, you're opening a mystery pack. And let's be real here, we've all been cooked and burnt by Pokemon before. So let's just show you the first process here. We already have this one in a easy pull sleeve. Now we're going to air can this off real quick. That's just something we like to do. Just kind of make sure it stays clean. All the time, we look for edge wear. We brush them with a microfiber cloth. We also will kind of like make sure there's no fingerprints on it. When I go through my pre-grading process, I actually look under magnifying lights as well as like very different loops, almost like jeweler's loops, to make sure like we don't see any surface damage, whitening, edge wear, things like that. And just kind of make sure that we're sending off the best possible card possible. I did forget to air can this. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we're just going to air can it real quick. Just make sure that final moment before you put it back in the pack that there's nothing on it to mess with it. So you just kind of blow off any dust, debris. People don't realize how often you can actually get like skin cells on it. I've done it. Like I've seen people return slabs and have like a little flake of dust or skin or something on their card. You just don't want that. That's instant 10 to a 9 or even an 8 because of a slab wear, and they don't care about your card. So, and then you just go ahead and put it in here. I definitely fight with these sometimes. I've gotten better, but I like to try to keep them as centered as possible, just because if you don't center them, when you stack the cards, and I'll show you later, when you stack the cards and they're left and right, and they're not centered, it just kind of loses its rigidness across the board. So you kind of want to make sure they're as centered as possible. They're not too tight, too snug. But let's fast forward here.
It's been 84 years.
Yep. All right. So we had to fast forward to that part. We cut the camera real quick. We weren't going to make you sit and watch us do 45 cards together here. So let's just skim through, make sure everything's kind of leveled out. It's good to go. Obviously, we're pretty happy with this submission here. We're going to be pretty... I'm ready for it. I think if they come back well, people are going to be pretty happy with these to get good slabs. So all you do is throw them back in the box. And I did fight with this one here, so I'm going to fast forward through this little bit here. I'm not going to make you watch this because me and this cardboard definitely got into some struggles. It was a little bit of a pain, but then I realized that I was an idiot, and you could just literally pull them apart and kind of go to the thickness that you need to. So let's go round 2. All right, so after done fighting with it, yeah, we got it in there. You just throw it back in the box. It says actually everything else that does not need to go back, like the extra, because like I got a 50 pack and I only had 45 cards submitted. So the other 5 semi-rigids as well as sleeves you're allowed to keep. It says put your put your inventory or your item list in there. It says you can keep the extra foam. I don't need extra foam, and I figured anything that makes the box a little more snug opposed to shifting around, the better. You just close it up, make sure it's nice and pretty, go that route there, flip it, close it. You don't need to tape it. Obviously, with like actual USPS boxes, FedEx boxes, you're usually going to tape it and things like that because you're shipping it out. But with this, nope. You just close it up, put it in there, and then we're going to go ahead and just zip it up, Velcro it. We are going to wait until we get actual to FedEx to zip tie so we can see it happen. But yeah, you just take this little zip tie, you go through the zipper, through the loop. It's very simple. You can't mess it up. And on that note, guys, we're just going to take off and...
Well, about time for me to be hitting the old dusty trail.